What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Wokey Bucks, and I'm back again with another video. So the topic that I'll be discussing in this video today is in regards to Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard's domestic abuse / violence situation, right? The one thing that you guys have to understand is that when it comes to the topic of domestic abuse or domestic violence, whether it's in the United States, whether it's in the UK, and in certain other areas of the world, right? Certain other countries, these laws that are in place to favor women and not men, right? Because the one thing that you have to understand is that the people that are in charge of being able to determine who's guilty and not guilty, they're going to look at a woman that's of smaller shape or even a woman that's of bigger shape and look at a man and ask themselves, what would make a man to be able, or what would make a woman to be able to beat on a man? But you don't realize that that woman has a past. You don't realize that that woman could have actually done something to harm the man. But you think that just because of the fact that she's a woman and biologically that she's not as strong as a man, that she can't do any type of harm or abuse to him. And that's what happened in this situation, right? In UK, where this case was settled, or this case was like they found an answer to this case, they have this thing, like I mentioned before, called the libel, which basically tells you that if you can present 12 out of 14 pieces of evidence that show that you are correct in what you're basically saying that you're correct, you win the case, right? So the judge was apparently able to find 12 pieces of evidence that he believed were right enough to be able to say that Depp was abusing Amber Heard, and she won the case, right? But the thing is that, like I mentioned, they don't think that any of the pieces of evidence, or most of the pieces of evidence that Johnny Depp provided, would have been liable, or would have been correct to believe that Amber Heard could have actually been abusing Johnny Depp. You feel what I'm saying? And the thing is that, like I mentioned before, they see the size of her. Obviously, relative to him, she's smaller, right? Both in height and in weight. So they don't think that she could actually abuse him. But mommy, like I've mentioned before, this woman has a past. This woman has a history of being in domestic abuse cases. Previously with her ex, right? She was dating a woman at a point in time in her younger life. The woman that she was dating, right? But between them two, there basically was a case of domestic abuse and domestic violence, right? That basically came out. And what her significant other at the time, the woman, basically came out and said was that she was basically trying to defend her and make it seem like she wasn't physically abusing her, even if that was the truth, because she wanted to save her face in the limelight of everybody not knowing the truth. But in all reality, more likely than not, she was the one that is abusing her. You feel what I'm saying? But they're not going to come out and say this. She has a history of being in domestic violence cases. Now it's with Johnny Depp, right? Who's a man. And the thing is that they look at both of them and they don't think that she could actually do any harm or damage to him. But that isn't true. The thing is that the laws that are in place aren't gonna allow them, right, to be able to see the truth. They want to continuously confuse you, confuse them, and continuously have them to not know what the truth is, and that's not fair at the end of the day. You feel what I'm saying? It's always good to know the truth and stand by the truth, right? And that's not to say that there's not a chance that he could not have been abusing him, or he could not have been abusing her, right? But the thing you have to understand is that this woman has a past of being in these types of situations, and there's also other evidence that is pointed against her actually abusing him. And you guys can fact check me if you want to. I believe there was a picture that he posted basically showing the scars, or like the bruises of her putting her hands on him, right? As one piece of evidence. There was also another tape that came out claiming that, in which Amber Heard claimed that she was abusing him. You feel what I'm saying? Whether she called it hitting or touching, at any point in time when you put your hands on somebody, you're technically abusing them. You feel what I'm saying? Like you could say that at the end of the day, obviously a light hitting might not be abuse, but my point is that if you're putting your hands on somebody without especially you getting the consent from somebody to put your hands on somebody, that person can claim abuse. You feel what I'm saying? Because you are physically abusing them by you touching them when they don't want you to touch them. That is abuse. You are abusing them in that situation, and that's basically what happened with her than Johnny Depp. And the thing is that for her to make it even worse for herself, she even came out and claimed that she was doing that. Right? She might not have said specifically abuse, but she did mention that she was hitting him or physically putting her hands on him, which she should not have been doing in the first place. So it's like you have that tape, you have the pictures, you have all sorts of other evidence that is pointed against you to make it seem like you are the victim. But the thing is that, like I said, because the law is being able to favor you, you're gonna try to switch the story around and make it seem like you're the only one getting abused in the situation, right? And that obviously it's kind of crazy because it's like you're gonna make it seem like you're the only one that's getting abused in the situation, that there is no type of harm that you could have done to be able to cause abuse to him. You feel what I'm saying? And that's not right, in my opinion. I feel like at the end of the day, that should definitely be checked, because it's like you already have a history and there's already pieces of evidence that are pointing against you that make you seem like you're abusing him. But at the same time as well too, you're gonna go out into the courts and in front of the jury, in front of the judge, you're gonna make it seem like he's doing all of these bad things against you, right? And I'll be honest, the pieces of evidence that you provide, right, might not even be serious pieces of evidence that even point towards him abusing you. But you could have used other pieces of evidence to make it seem like he was the one that was doing it. But this could have been from your previous cases or anything to make it seem like he's the one that's truly abusing you. That's why I always tell guys, as much as possible, at the end of the day, when you're going to get into relationships with certain types of women, it's always good to know their past. Because without knowing their past, you don't know what you're encountering when dealing with these types of women. This woman obviously had an abusive and emotional past with the women that she messed with in the past and the men she messed with in the past. And now she's trying to bring that negative aura, a negative energy into your life. And now you see what type of nonsense that you're dealing with when you shouldn't even have to deal with it. You know what we're talking about? We're talking about Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean. This dude is a high-value man. He's a high-value man. He should know his worth. All men that are working towards becoming high-value, right, obviously starts off in the mind, right, with your mindset. Then it translates into your physical world. You have to value yourself as a man. You should never allow a woman to take advantage of you. You should never allow a woman to treat you like you're not equal to her, if anything greater than her. You have to value yourself. Value your aura, value your energy. All of these things matter. The thing you have to understand is that the more you value yourself, the more she'll value you. A lot of you guys want a woman to love you first without understanding that she can never love you without respecting you first. Right? A lot of you dudes, especially that are high value and make all this money, feel like you can be able to use the money to be able to lead her. No, she'll take the money and she'll leave you. You can never lead. She can never be led by somebody who uses because the thing you have to understand is that you're using the money to be able to overcompensate for the skills that you're supposed to have as a man. And that's not even to blame you guys. It's about society and the way society trains us men. In this current society that we live in, right? In this current society that we live in, they're trying to emasculate every single man and trying to make him realize his feminine side. But that's not the way that we're supposed to be as men. All right? You have to embrace your masculinity. You have to embrace your aura and understand that at the end of the day, your aura and your masculinity is who you are, and never allow anybody to shame you away from that. All right? This example, this case right here, is an example to men for you to understand that if a woman is not falling within your standards, or you not knowing her past before you wife her up, these are the types of things that can happen. Right? You need to know these things before you try to get into a relationship with a woman that's not mentally stable and will try to pin everything against you to make it seem like you are the bad guy. But deep down inside, she has a history of doing this. And on top of having a history of doing this, she's also admitting to doing these things. If you understand, it's because you're woke. But if you have no understanding, you're not woke. This is going to be the end of this video. If you like this video, make sure you go spam that like button, leave comments, share this video with your friends, subscribe to the channel at WokeEbucks, WOKEEBUKS. Tap the notification bell to get all the latest videos that I post. Patreon link will be down in the description below, so make sure you give that a check. Social media links will also be down in the description below, so make sure you give that a check. You feel what I'm saying? Without further ado, it's going to be the end of this video. This is WokeEbucks, and I'm out, man. Oh yeah, and don't forget, you feel what I'm saying? Leave me comments in that comment section below. Let me know what you think. And we out, man.